Just over a month ago, I made a well-received video on HGV drivers' wages, namely this video here. Well, we need to revisit that video, so let's discuss it on the Trucker's Eye. So almost 30,000 people watched that video. A lot of it, though, for me, was lost on the wages side of things. It wasn't so much the amount that was being paid by the company, more that it was a two-tier wage structure. Let us once again look at the original job advert that was advertised on Indeed by the company in question. Now, as you can see, if you were driving, you were being paid £15 per hour. However, if you were unloading or doing any other activity that is not driving the vehicle, your wages will only be £12 an hour. So £15 an hour is not the actual wage what you will earn overall. Now, obviously, everybody's individual circumstances are different to each other. What's a good wage to some might not be a good wage to others. So, why do I want to revisit this original video? Well, it's quite simple. Yesterday, I received an email. It was a brand new job advert from the same company, and guess what? The wages have gone up. Now, just before we get into the new rate of pay from the company in question, I do want to highlight that at least this company will advertise the rate that they actually pay. More than not, you'll find companies advertising on Indeed will not disclose the wages they pay. Now, to me, I'm a bit wary. If a company doesn't advertise their wages that they're paying, then why not? What have they got to hide? Like I said earlier, I'm not going to tell you my opinions on whether I think this wage is good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Everybody has their own opinions on whether a wage is good. Everybody has their own circumstances. They might live near to the company, they might live far from the company, they might be able to tramp for the company and the vehicle be outbased. Everybody has different individual circumstances, so please take that into consideration. So as you can see, this is a new job advert. The new is highlighted, meaning it's not been long put up. And it's the same job advert for the same company, but this time when we click on it, we get this. And here we have all the information as listed on the job advert on the Indeed website. As you can see, £52,000 a year, which obviously with this industry and this job, that will fluctuate and change, both for the better and sometimes for the worse, but usually better than the £52,000. And then obviously we get the full job description of what the job entails and what the company might expect from you and what you can expect working for the company. And then here we go with the wages. Put some meat on the bones with this new rate. The new rate is £15.30 for driven hours, but still only £12 for basic tasks. So if you're doing 60 hours working through the week and your hours were split exactly 30 hours for driving and 30 hours for other work, that will mean that your hourly rate of pay for that week is £13.65 an hour. Now, if you remember in the first video, we said if it was 30 hours of driving and 30 hours of other work at the old rates, you would have been on £13.50 an hour. So this, in a sense, basically equates to around 15 pence an hour wage rise. Now, I'm sure the most eagle-eyed amongst yourselves will have noticed that the night out rate has dropped. Let's bring up the old wage structure so we can compare the two together. As you can see, on the old rate, the night out subsistence was £30 per night. And on the new structure, it's dropped to £25.50 per night. Now, this, to my mind, has something to do with drivers being taxed. A driver will have to pay tax on anything above £26.20 per night out, as per the government legislation. But companies are still allowed to pay a meal allowance, which is also tax-free. So if you do add them two figures up, £25.50 plus £4.50 will bring you back to that old night out rate of £30, and drivers will not be paying tax on the extra above the £26.20. And there we have it for another video. Do you think it's right that a HGV driver, or any worker for that instance, should have two different rates of pay whilst going to work and doing the same job? And do you think that this would be acceptable in other forms of work? For instance, should an office worker be on a different rate of pay when they're on the computer to when they're answering a phone call? How far does it go? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on The Trucker's Eye.